Hey guys, my name is Raptor. Today I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on how to fly the helicopters in Arma 3. This is the example helicopter, the MH9 Hummingbird. This video is going to be covering taking off in a helicopter. This is the first of my helicopter series in Arma that I'm going to be doing to teach you guys how you can basically fly a helicopter in Arma. It's going to be directed mostly towards new players to the game, but I think more into the series will get a little bit more in depth, and I'm going to be putting some tips and stuff in there as well that some players that are experienced with the game might not know, but we'll see. The first thing I'm going to be covering in this video is controls, so we'll get right into that. So G does not work with this helicopter, but if you were using a bigger helicopter, some helicopters will have something called a landing gear. Now, this you will want to deploy down whenever you want to land with this helicopter. It basically puts down the landing wheels that will make it so you're not crashing into the ground. So, this helicopter doesn't have them. It just has these little... I'll get out of the helicopter and show you. It just has this. No wheels. But some bigger helicopters will have these, and you're going to want to tuck them in once you start flying, because when you have them tucked in, it increases your speed. The next thing we're going to learn is X. Now, what this does is it initiates auto hover. Now, this will try and keep your helicopter just going straight up. It won't have it going forward, left, right, or anything like that. It'll just try and keep it going straight up or down. It's going to keep the helicopter stable and just hovering in that location. So, I wouldn't recommend this, but if you're really new and you're kind of scared of taking off, you can do this. Also, if you're on a server where there's not very many people, you're probably pretty safe doing this. But if this is a high population server and there's a lot of people running around, you aren't going to be wanting to use this because it's going to slow down your landing. We're going to talk about landing in another episode, but it'll slow off your landings and takeoffs, and people will be able to shoot you very easily if you're using this. So we're going to turn that off. Other than that, I don't think there's too many other just utility controls. There are other controls that I'm going to get into. So once you're ready to start your engine, just tap shift. Don't hold it down. As you can hear, the rotor is now spinning. Now this is pretty loud, so if you're talking to your friends, you're going to want to turn your volume down. Also, some servers will have a earphones option, and then you'll be able to hear your friends better. I'm going to turn that down even more because that is probably blocking my sound a little bit. So, now that we have a minimal amount of sound, I'm going to be showing you guys some other controls. So, in order to move your helicopter, if I move my mouse backwards on the mouse pad, I will tilt my helicopter forward. When you have your helicopter tilted forward, that will gain speed when you're in the air. Now, don't do any of this when you're on the ground, because that will potentially make you crash your helicopter. So, don't move that yet. If I move my mouse forward on the mouse pad, I will move backwards. And then if I want to move left or right, I move left or right on the mouse pad. If you want to ascend upwards, you hold the left shift button, like so. If you want to ascend downwards, or descend downwards, you hold the Z key. By the way, helicopters are very fragile in this game, so if you're going to be wanting to keep these still alive, you want to land very gently, because they are very fragile. They're like a piece of paper. They will explode very easily. So, next I'm going to talk about the things that you want to check around your surroundings, and just different things that you want to check before you take off in your helicopter. The first thing you're going to want to check is if you hold the Alt key you can look around like this without moving any of your controls, just looking around. You're going to want to check if there's any trees or buildings around you, because you don't want to crash your helicopter into them. So if there's a tree right here, you're going to want to try and move your helicopter a little bit, just gently, like taking off. Going like that. And then landing again. Well, this is a bad explanation, but you're supposed to move to the right. I think I actually ended up going a little bit more to the left with that, but you're supposed to go maybe over there a little bit more. Also, whenever you're taking off, if there are a lot of obstructions around you, take your hand off of your mouse button and just hold the shift button until you're outside of the obstruction range. So they are too low down that they will hit you. And then you can start moving out into the distance. Also, what you want to check is if your auto hover is on or not, because I have died many times trying to take off in my helicopter because my auto hover was on. If you know your auto hover is on, that's great, and you can control it and make sure it's not going to hurt you. But if you don't know your auto hover on and you start to use your auto hover and you take off and you're using your auto hover and you don't know, you might try and move your mouse, and then your mouse will you'll try and move, but the auto hover will be like trying to counteract that movement to stay stable, and sometimes it'll go in a spin and hit objects around you, and I've died a lot of times trying to take off with auto hover on and me not knowing it. Other than that, I think you're pretty good. Make sure there's no enemies around you trying to shoot you. Just make sure there's no controls that you want to be not on, like make sure your landing gear is on, because if you try and take off without your landing gear, I don't know if I've ever tried it. I don't even know if it's really possible, but I don't think that would work very well. Let's see. What am I going to do next? Okay. So now I'm going to teach you how to take off with the helicopter. So, hold shift until you get to a decent altitude. Maybe this many meters. And then just look around. Make sure you're not going to run into anything. And then I think that you can just start going forward. But first, I want to show you something. So, if you are moving forward, like so, if you pitch your helicopter forward, you will start moving forward. But if you do it too much, you're also going to start descending into the ground, because you're pitching your nose into the ground. If you do it backwards and you start going too slow, you're also going to start going into the ground. At first, you're going to start going up, but then you're going to start going into the ground again. And you're also going to start reversing in your helicopter if you do that. So I'm going to turn auto hover on for a second just to make an example of what it does. It'll stable out your helicopter like that, and then if I turn it off, I'm still stabled out, so I can just continue on from there. If you turn left, you'll turn left. But what you can do is you can go forward and turn left at the same time, and you'll kind of do this like diagonal movement, and if you go up from there, you can do a turn. If you keep moving your mouse up. That's pretty cool. So, next, I think that we're going to talk about how to ascend in the helicopter. So, what you're going to want to do is put your nose down and hold shift. Don't put your nose down too much, because then you'll start descending again. But if you do about like this, and you start holding shift, you're going to start going to a good altitude, and you're going to start going, you're going good. This is good right now. You're ascending, and you're also going fast. So, I'm going to land this again, and then I'm going to be back right with you. Okay, now I'm going to teach you a few little tricks and stuff for when you're taking off. On how to gain altitude fast, and just little things that you want to do if you want to have some cool things when you're taking off. Now, if you just started the game and you haven't really tried any of the things I've already told you before, then maybe you want to wait a little bit to try some of these things. But if you think you've gotten down some of the mechanics of the helicopter and you want to try something new, then you can try this out. So, yeah, we're going to start with the helicopter. And if you want to go up really fast, what you're going to want to do is this is one of the things that I usually use. So, once you're ready to take off, you take off, and then you move your thing up and to the side. And you're going to start gaining altitude, and then you can go in your desired direction like that. So that's a good tip to use if you want to do that. I'm going to land this really quick. I'm going to show you another trick. Okay. I'm coming in kind of fast here. And just a nice little land. Like that. And then another thing we can do, which is kind of weird, that I figured out just on my own. Didn't watch any videos or anything. Most of this is just in my own experience. So if I do miss anything, do comment down below so other people can read it. And I can maybe put a little annotation in that shows something about that. So the next thing we're going to do is, I don't know if it's really too useful, but it's something that I just learned. So you hold shift, you accelerate, and you move your helicopter backwards. Now keep doing this. And then eventually, if you turn your helicopter just a little bit, it'll do a full turn and then go in the opposite direction. So if you just tilt it a little bit, I don't know how this works, but if you go like this, and then you do this, you can do an easy turn 360 like that. So that's pretty cool. If that ever comes in handy for you, you can try that. And then, yeah, let me see what else I have to talk about. I have like some bullet points that I'm going off. Okay. So next I think I'm going to talk some facts about the helicopter. Now I'm going to talk about the real-life counterpart of the helicopter that I used in this video. In real life, it's actually called the MH6 or the AH6 Little Bird, opposed to the Arma version, the AH9 Hummingbird. The helicopter was introduced into the U.S. Army in 1980 with 1,300 units being used in many operations, and most of which were successful. So I think it was a pretty good investment getting this helicopter for the U.S. Army, and it worked pretty well in Arma too. So yeah, my name is Raptor, and I just want to say thanks for watching my video. If you made it to the end, hopefully it was pretty helpful. If you have any suggestions or anything that I missed from this video, please leave those down in the comments so I can put an annotation, or it can help other people, or it can help me improve in my videos. I'm going to be making some more videos similar to this about helicopters in the future in Arma, and some more different categories on how to fly them. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.
Waiting for you.